Good morning. Good evening. Good evening. Good morning, Brenda. Welcome. Seeking and being. Welcome. Welcome, everyone. Hello, Lennart. Hello, Global Witness. Welcome. Hello, Derek. Fine line. Nothing is on mine today. Just being and inviting others to be as well. To be with what is already perfect. Wow, greetings from Poland. Welcome. Blackberry. Welcome. From Poland, that's a far ways away. I don't mind people posting my videos on TikTok. I have my own account, but I stopped posting on there. Just I don't really have the time to do those things, you know. So yeah, I don't mind if other people make them. My old account was Psychedelic Mirror, so I posted a few. I think I only have like 6 on there, but I've had a few people edit some of my videos and post them on YouTube or TikTok, so yeah, I don't mind. That's the thing, it's not my message. It's not my teaching. Seeking and Being says, I'm curious, what books would you recommend? So at the moment, since you asked, I have this book here next to me. I'm just started, and I have my highlighter just in case. You know, I highlight the key things, but this book is called From Medication to Meditation, and it's from Osho. And if you'd like, I can read a summary of what it's about, basically. Alright, so two methods have been tried to understand and cure the disease called man. One is medicine, the other is meditation. Both these are treatments for the same disease. It will be good to understand here that medicine considers each disease in man separately, an approach of analysis of the part. Meditation considers man himself as a disease. Meditation considers the very personality of man as the disease. Medicine considers that diseases come to man and then they go, that they are something alien to man. But slowly this difference has diminished, and medical science too has started saying, do not treat the disease, treat the patient. Medicine catches the diseases in man very superficially. Meditation gets a hold of man from deep within. In other words, it can be said that medicine tries to bring about the health of a person from the outside. Meditation tries to keep the inner being of a person healthy. For thousands of years, man has taught that the body and the soul of a person are separate entities. This thinking has given rise to two very dangerous results. One of the results was that some people considered that man was only the soul and they neglected the body. Such people brought about developments in meditation, but not in medicine. Medicine could not become a science. The body was totally disregarded. In contrast, some people considered man as only the body and neglected the soul. They did a lot of research and developed in medicine, but no steps towards meditation. But man is both at the same time. I am also saying that this is a linguistic mistake. When we say both at the same time, it gives the impression that there are two separate things, but connected together. No. In fact, the body and the soul of man are two ends of the same pole. If it is seen in the right perspective, we will not be able to say that man is body plus soul. It is not so. Man is psychosomatic or somatopsychic. Man is mind-body or body-mind. According to me, that part of the soul which is within the grasp of our senses is the body, and that part of the body which is beyond the grasp of the senses is the soul. The invisible body is the soul. The visible body, I'll rewind that. The invisible body is the soul. The visible soul is the body. They are not two different things. They are not two separate entities. They are two different states or vibrations of the same entity. The science of medicine has so far not been able to achieve anything in the dimension of what health is. Its whole work has been in the dimension of what disease is. If you question the science of medicine about diseases, it tries to give definitions, but if you ask it what health is, then it tries to deceive you. It says that when there is no disease, then whatever remains is health. This is deception, not a definition. How can you define health in relation to disease? It's like defining a flower in relation to thorns. It is like defining life in relation to death, or light in relation to darkness. No, the science of medicine has not been able to say so far what health is. It can only tell us what disease is naturally. There is a reason for it. The reason is that the science of medicine only grasps from the outside, only grasps the bodily manifestations from the outside, only the disease can be grasped. So that's a small preview of the book, and that's what it talks about, is the Buddhist style of meditation and mind-body, how to go from medication to meditation, basically, and how to identify the parts of yourself that are beyond mind-body, and identify, likewise, the parts of yourself that are mind-body, and being able to shed the pieces of yourself that you are not before a physical death. So that way, one can essentially become a Buddha, which is one who has awakened from the dream. The dream we have of ourselves, this dream world, this dream person. And that's a lot of what it talks about, being man, being human. We are the only species that tries to be something we're not. From the moment we wake till the moment we sleep, we wear masks, and we have many masks, and we veil ourselves from what we really are, pretending to be this human concept. And that's why we can never live up to our own expectation. That's why we can never satisfy our fuel or our hunger. We're constantly needing to fuel what keeps us going or doing, because we are that doer, and so we're attaching to the results of that doing. But that's why we're left unsatisfied after it's all said and done, is you're not that doer. There's something that's already been done here, that's already perfect, that's already the bliss you're searching for. It needs no correction. It simply is waiting for you to realize yourself, and it's waiting to welcome you home here. But as far as books, I have the typical, Rumi, Thich Nhat Hanh, or Han, Osho. Oh, that's good. I'm sorry. Roark Petrie. I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. Said, suffered a lot in the past months. Your view on crystals and fluoride and the vaccine really helped me find peace. That's good. So Blackberry's question, why we have the shape we have in this physical body? What makes us look the way we look? So to each one of us, we all look different. We're only seeing ourselves. So if you asked me why we look this way, I would say we look no way, because this is not what we're limited to. The same forces that digest your food, pump your blood, are the same forces, the same universal forces driving the cosmos and phasing the moon and rotating the sun. It's the very same thing driving it. I would say I see myself in everything, everywhere. So that's the power of our words, and that's the power of our mind, is the mind can make any object become any word you like, and that word can take shape as any object you like. So, I've said many times, the earth can become body and body can become earth. And although that makes a significant difference to us, if we were in an alternative reality, let's just say, and everything was backwards, that's what it would be. The inside would be the outside would be the inside. So this would be called the earth and that would be called the body. But would it actually make a difference? Would we actually exist any differently or know the difference? No, we wouldn't. That's the trick of duality. We assume that time is in a forward motion and not backwards. But again, if there's an alternative reality, one where time is flipped, time is not going this way but that way, would you really know the difference? If my whole sentence and everything I'm saying right now was backwards, in reverse, in that reality, would you really know the difference? This could be that and that could be this. You could be me and I could be you. You could switch them and they make no difference, because that's the trick of the two. They are one the whole time. And that's the great conspiracy of the one with itself, of you and yourself. That's why we have magnificently veiled ourselves through the mind. The mind is infinite and it can allow words to take shape as any object we believe them to be. So we didn't birth into this saying, this is a human, this is what we are. We repetitively said it enough and believed in this word, believed in this object as the word. And now this object is the word. So when we see ourselves or what we think of ourselves, we're seeing this. So we can see ourselves in many forms based on our own level of awareness. So you're really only seeing yourself. No one is at all seeing the same thing that you see. Even if we're standing right next to each other, looking at the same object, the same picture, the same movie, the same chef cooking the same meal, we're all seeing something different. We're all creating something different, but the same, if that makes sense. My goals and plans for the future? Hopefully, I would like to eventually buy a nice, I don't know, traveling vehicle, maybe an RV or something, and travel the world. Set up places that people can come to and just be. I would like to not be able, my dream is to, and eventually not have a house, if you will, or a home. I'd like to take my message on the road. Home is nowhere. You're always home, because these places that we exist through are not separate from anything. As I say, the same presence that fills your house, that's with me right now, is the same presence that fills my job, my work. It's with me at my job. So if my presence is disturbed or not happy here, Likewise, will it be the same at work or wherever I go, because your presence are these places, are the people, are the things you are experiencing. You are the universe experiencing itself. Only we don't see that because we are veiled through the mind. That's how powerful the mind is. And until we start focusing more on unlearning what we've taken so long to accumulate and dedicate our lives to, we won't be ready to begin unveiling ourselves, because an unveiling, transcending reality begins with an unlearning of what you think you know about the world and the person that you have projected yourself as into this world. And that's what we come to find is the only thing that glues this together, that makes this reality, is the belief you have over it. And I know it sounds very simple to say that, but our beliefs are what create our reality. Lennart said, if you have an ego death experience, is that the same as being a baby? A baby has also no ego. That's correct. That's right. A baby is egoless. And again, let's review what an ego is. An ego is just a separately driven entity existing in the mind. It's not actually a real entity. It's not actually a real character, separate from the source to what is present throughout this entire experience. So we become this separately driven entity, and we become what speaks as this entity, which is, again, the separate entity, which is actually driving the awareness. And so when it comes time to die and return to pure awareness as what we are, we cling to and we try and fight and say, no, this is what I am. I have to keep this alive. Because we've fallen for the illusion. We've fallen for the dream. We've fallen for that separate being as ourselves, which is naturally so. We dedicate our entire lives to it. This is what TV and Hollywood and all these expectations brought upon us are for, to root you into the dream, to trick you into thinking you can acquire this happiness through these things, through these possessions. That's why you have relationship goals through celebrities, and you have, house goals and all these things, because that's your happiness. That's your happiness being sold to you, being shown to you superficially. But everyone, that's what Jim Carrey meant when he said he wishes people could get everything they wanted. So you can see that it's not actually what you want. It would not fulfill you. You're after something so much more. It's not in the next car, because the next car, you'll come to find, is the same steering wheels, the same four wheels, and the same seat that you just sat in previously. It changes nothing because, again, the same presence, it goes back to presence. The same presence that filled your last car will be with you in this new car. It will be the same steering wheel, the same seat, and the same four wheels. It may be more reliable, more fast, more cool, but how you felt in that car, you will feel in this car. How you felt in that house, you will feel in this house. How you felt with that person, you will feel with this person. You are what you are waiting for, and now is all you have. Tomorrow is not promised, yet we plan our days this way. We plan for tomorrow and the next week and next month. Now is all we have. And that's why we are so disturbed when pandemics and these things come up, because we are not in the now. We're 2 weeks ahead from now and 3 weeks ahead from now. We're so comfortable in our dream that when it becomes uprooted from us, like this pandemic, we panic. And again, rightfully so, because we've dedicated our whole lives to this. But this is the time. This is what we're waiting for. The ascension, the awakening, the next step. It's here. Artificial intelligence, virtual reality, mandated vaccines, all these things are pushing us to our next evolution, to our next phase. This is what we've been asking for so long. But likewise, it's going to surface all of our deepest fears we have of ourselves, because we have not shed the pieces of ourselves which we are not. We have not faced the mirror yet beyond the human concept, beyond the human veil. We have not found the alien within ourselves. We have not found the machine within ourselves. And so the machine is artificial to us. It's different. There are two life forms here instead of one. And this is where our troubles come about. Because now you have one life form threatening the other, jeopardizing the other, trying to eliminate the other, take out the other. But again, it's like what Alan Watts talks about with the yin and yang. You have proposed the idea that black will overcome the white or white will overcome the black, when that was never the point of the yin yang. These were to show you they're one motion working in synchronicity with each other. Because they are not two, they're one. And one could never overpower the other. Off could never over-triumph on. Because there is not two functions, there is one life. There is one presence. It's undivided, it's pure, and it's waiting for everyone right here. Salvation is here. Heaven is right here. There is no place to go. The mind are all these places you're thinking of. And that's what virtual reality is showing us. We're not actually traveling places, we're going through the mind. Likewise with this reality, we travel through places through the mind. The mind is all the places you think you're traveling to. The mind is the places. The mind is the people you see. Because again, you're only seeing yourself. The moment you have judged, ye have judged thyself. That's something to that effect of the Bible. The moment ye have cast judgment, ye have cast judgment upon yourself. You're not seeing anything other than your own self, from your own level of self-awareness. That is how all of us are experiencing something different. Different levels of self-awareness. That's a good question. Lenart, if we're all one, what is your motivation to teach us or to tell your story about non-duality? The same thing that kept Rumi going after he lost his mind, using his quote. My favorite quote from Rumi is, "I am not only in you, but I am you. And no one can understand this until they have lost their mind." We leave behind a record to tell our story, to tell ourselves, hey, we were here. It's almost like setting up a room or setting up a structure or a setting, like leaving behind the pyramid, setting up something and then snapping your finger and vanishing, and then entering from a different perception the very same thing you just put there from a new perception, so you have no memory that it was literally you that just designed it and put it there for the perception that you are looking through to see. This is why I feel we've left behind these monuments, these hieroglyphs, these symbols, the all-seeing eye. You know, we're telling our story, we're telling our stories of awakenings to ourselves. It's like exiting a video game, but saving the game before you exit is kind of what it is. It's like saving the game before you exit. You leave behind these hieroglyphs, these monuments, these books, telling yourself where you've been, what you've done, knowing full well, once you part ways with this body, you will not have any memory. This was you. And when you're consciously aware of that, you can speak more thought-provoking to your next self. You can speak more directly to your next self, exactly how Rumi has done for us. I'm not only in you, but I am you. Directly telling you he is you. Directly telling you he has not died and gone anywhere at all. He is living through your very eyes. The very same stories you read as Rumi are Rumi. The very same books you read and things that you read. Osho, this man has lived and died. I'm reading his book. I have the knowledge that Osho was me. I've written this book. This is where I've been. This is what I've done. This is what we have achieved. That's why we have such fascination and Buddha and Jesus and these men who have achieved these unworldly things. It's showing us proof of what we can do, of what we have done. And it's not myth because, again, we have done it. It's already achieved. But again, that's where religion separates from spirituality. Because religion sells you the one and done. It's already been done. It cannot be done again. Spirituality says it's for everyone. This is for everyone to achieve, to directly experience. It's showing you where you have been, what you have done. That's why I like that quote, history is a clock, telling us where we have been. That's really what history is. His story, it's our story. And when you say his is not referring to the masculine, to just man, mankind, us as this being. And again, you can call it human, you can call it whatever you like. I don't refer to it as human. We are this being, this isness. And it has no name, but beyond the name, it's not important. The story is what's important. We're telling ourselves where we have been, who we have been, what we have done, what we have achieved. And when you look at it from this light, it's so much more fascinating. It makes so much more sense. Why do people sit there and binge watch serial killer documentaries? You know, you think that's kind of weird. No, you want to understand a mind which you would never be. Not in this incarnation, at least. You would never be that. You'll never be a serial killer. So why do people watch these things? To understand the mind. because it's the very same thing. The very characteristics that live in the serial killer live in you. That's why they say anyone could be a killer. These traits can be brought about through anyone. That's why we attempt to understand these people, understand these things. Subconsciously, we know they are us. We are them. And that's how we're all connected, through the heart, through this emotion, the feeling. We're all feeling the same things, the same emotions, in different degrees, different variations, different levels, of course. But the heart is universal. It is the same. That is how we connect. For you to know fear and me to know fear, again, it's a universal feeling. Obviously to different degrees, to different levels, but fear is universal. Love is universal. It needs no communication. So the heart is where we connect. The mind is what divides all. The mind is what veils us from ourselves. The mind is where we create superficial values and meanings where there are none. And that's why it matters what logo is seen on your pair of shoes or your hat or your whatever. Because the mind has created value where there is none. Nike and these companies test the waters with these people. And that's why they say we are consumers, because the average pair of Jordans in the 1990s was $100. But they've slowly increased $125, $150, $175, $200, $300. And do you know why they keep going up? Because you keep buying them. You as consumers, and I'm not talking to the people on this video, I'm talking in general to us. But we are buying them. We sell these things out. We consume these things. This is why they're able to increase the price, because they have figured us out. We will pay or overpay for the same materials put into Walmart shoes because we want to be seen with the better logo. We are seen through logos. We essentially are buying people's attention, buying people's admiration, because again, you're doing these things to be seen. I like the quote where it says, if you were the last person on earth and no one was around and, no one was there to see your shoes, to see your hat, to see these things, would it matter the logo that's on them? Would you care the logo, or would you just throw on any hat, any shoes, any shirt, any socks? You wouldn't care. And that's the thing. We're doing it to veil ourselves. And the greatest part about it is the version that we create of ourselves, that we think the world sees, will never be seen by anyone but you. Because, again, likewise, you are the universe experiencing itself, so is him and so is her. So they're not actually seeing you, the version you dress up and create to be all perfect, Hollywood perfect. They're seeing themselves in accordance to their own self-awareness. When they judge you, they're judging themselves from their own self-awareness. They're seeing themselves in you. Likewise, vice versa. Exactly. That's why I say we are the serial killer. We are that. The same characteristics in that person are in you, are in me. We are these things, right? When people say, "Oh my God, he would have never done that. She would have never done that." It takes triggers, these things, to bring them out of people, but it's in everyone because, again, these feelings are universal. We can all feel the same things. Again, to different degrees, but through the heart, that's where we can all connect and sympathize, understand with one another. It's obvious nobody likes to feel miserable, to feel sad, depressed, rejected, not liked. Nobody likes these things, right? The heart is where we can connect and sympathize, because if another person maybe has felt that same rejection or sadness, that's where you connect, is through the heart. You are that person and they are you. That's how you connect, through the heart. The only thing making you different is the mind, the appearance, the name of Susie and Alice, or Matt and Michael, whoever. The only thing making you different is the mind, but the heart is where we all connect. Wars aren't started through the heart, it's through the mind. Men have lost touch with themselves. We lose touch with who we are. We fall so deeply into the superficial problem when there is no true problem here. Abundance is here. Salvation is here. I can't say that, Lennart, but I can say I know what my purpose here is to do. Since my awakening, 2-3 years back, it's very clear to me what I should be doing here. It's very clear to me what I must be doing. And again, it's a gift to me. It's beautiful. I don't look at it as this is fate, this is destiny. I know within my heart this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and I follow the path that my heart guides me toward. But essentially, yes, I try to act as just as a mirror to show people who they are. I want people to marvel in that same bliss, that same laugh, that same presence that I have with myself. We are a reflection of the entirety of everything and nothing. And that's why when we're looking through eyes for God, we'll miss it. We'll miss it completely, because what does everything and nothing look like? It's beyond senses. It'll evade you, just like the white rabbit evading Alice if you try and chase it. It can run faster than you, because there is no actual chase. It is you're trying to grab. Fine Line asks, do you have any advice on fear or fear of self? Well, I can say it's true what they say, the only thing to fear is fear itself. Because again, you have to think of fear as a mirror. Fear is the only reason there's only thing to fear is fear itself, is fear is shapeless. Fear will take shape and take scenario in accordance to who you believe you are. So when I experienced my awakening through magic mushrooms, I was brought to face my worst fears, and I didn't understand at the time why. Why? Like, this felt like a dirty trick to me. It felt like the devil was playing with me and laughing at me. Seriously, it felt very dirty, like a dirty trick. I couldn't understand because I had to face my worst fears, but I could understand after why. This is part of an ego death. We find that the pieces of our ego are not just rooted in ourselves, like meaning the beliefs we have of ourselves, but they're rooted in other things that we love, such as family, children, wife, your job, things like this. Our ego is rooted in these places, in these people, in these things we love and enjoy. So one of my deepest fears was losing my family. So I was shown my whole family, one at a time, oldest to smallest or youngest. And I witnessed from youngest to oldest dissolve, 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 symbolizing them dying, symbolizing me having to face my worst fear, that they are dead, they're gone, they don't exist anymore. And I'm having to mourn the loss of this. And it's at this moment I'm very upset. It feels like a dirty trick. But once you've mourned the loss, you've let go, you've accepted this is what it is, you've lived out the fear, put it that way, you're able to see what's behind that door of fear. Why was this my greatest fear? What was keeping me from letting go of that concept, this? And that's where you'll see you are slowly but delicately shedding your boundaries to yourself. And when I say to yourself, you as your birth name, me as Tyler, I was shedding the pieces of Tyler. So it wasn't a dirty trick that my family doesn't exist or they're not real. You must see beyond your love for your family and what your family is, because again, who has created concept of family? Tyler. Tyler exists in family. You must outlive what family is to see that you are beyond this. You are beyond the concepts you have, the concepts you exist through as Tyler. And the final parting ways through this ego death is with you and yourself. You've shed the loss of your family, the loss of the world, the loss of all concept that you know. Night and day, what time it is, all these concepts don't exist anymore. And the final and last goodbye, the last mourning that there is to do is with you and yourself, you and this image, you and this birth name, Tyler. And once you cry for that or shed that, and mourn that and let it go, you have released the final and ultimate limitation to yourself. That is what keeps every single person holding on and fighting on their deathbed, is that parting ways with self, with Tyler, the name, the body, the image. Because again, rightfully so, we've dedicated our whole lives to this. This is what we've become. This is what we are. But no, it's in this moment we are finding out we are so much more. But how can you find that out until you have actually let go? You must actually live out your death, live out your family's death, live out these things to see that these were boundaries, limitations that you as the ego existed through, and that you are source to concept. And when I say concept, I mean words like family, like self, body, earth. You are the source to that. You don't need to hold on to the earth or the body or the family or the mother or the father or the son or this. You're the source that is putting forth the light into every form which you have ever loved. It's waiting for you to welcome you home. And that's the beauty in spirituality, is you can experience this before making it there. Before reaching that finish line and having to actually check out, you can make it there. These are all just concepts. And again, even the ego is a concept, but it's not just a concept, it is the most sacredly kept and defended concept that we have with ourselves. That is why when you hear people say, I will fight the government until I'm dead, I will fight for my human rights until I'm dead, that's what that is. It's the ego speaking. You don't need to fight. The ultimate freedom is when you have let go. It's similar to what he says in Fight Club, in the movie Fight Club. Tyler Durden's talking to the narrator, Edward Norton, and he says, letting go is not a weekend retreat. It's not a seminar. This is not something that you visit and then leave and go back about your life. This is not something that you do for a weekend. This is the point of no return. You're either in or you're not. You let go or you don't. This is it. This is all you have. And that's why I love Rumi's quote, there is no place for window shoppers in spirituality. You either want this or you don't. You're serious or you're not. But you must realize when the time comes to check out, you will be having to pay forth the ultimate price with yourself. It's a mental price. It's an unlearning. It's a releasing of everything. But you must lose yourself to find yourself. So it's hard to say because that's a tricky, that's a touchy subject. Gabriella says, what are your thoughts on those who commit suicide? That's a very delicate subject. You can't just put a label on it for this is why people commit suicide and that's it, because there are many reasons. There are people with physical pain, emotional pain, mental pain, even traumas. But I think the ultimate reason is escaping. And again, I think some we could agree are a little more understandable than others, but ultimately, I think the being thinks they're escaping something. They're escaping what they're going through, what they're facing. I guess through my perception, I've been shown through magic mushrooms that suiciding doesn't change anything. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't start over. It's not like that. It's pointless. It's as pointless as I tell people, for the people to go out and try and fight a government or something. It's because the way I see it, again, you think you're grabbing the material world and setting it on fire, but what you're grabbing is the screen to your own consciousness, and you're expecting a winning result. It's maddening to me. So I see it in a very similar sense. It doesn't make sense. But again, like I said, I understand for some aspects. It's again, that's a very delicate subject, though. But I don't think you'll go anywhere different, be anyone different, escape anything. What you most avoid is what you are, inevitably. Lennart said, maybe a strange question, but are there people who can get you angry now that you are awakened? That's probably the best and most real question I've ever been asked, honestly. And when I say real, I mean pertaining to just being transparent and real. I think whoever would answer no to that question now that they've awakened, is lying or selling you something. Even this guy right here, Sri Muji, would tell you that there are people that get him angry. That's not what this teaching is. It's not about you awaken and you'll never experience anger again or sadness again or loss, right? It's about ultimately you know thyself. You know you are not limited to these emotions. So although you feel them, you are not limited to them. You are able to feel them and purge them, meaning release them without internally attaching them and allowing them to characterize you and define you later in life. You're not attaching yourself to them. By purging them, by feeling them, you release them. You are not adding them on to who I am. This is who I am. And again, I'm not saying, I'll get out of my car and go slam my hands on someone's hood and say, get the heck out of the car, right? But yes, no, I do get angry, realistically. And again, I think anyone who says no would be selling you, honestly. But yeah, still get angry. And that's why I love my job, honestly, because I work in retail. And I don't just work in retail of the supermarket. I don't just work in the retail of, excuse me, sir, where are your eggs or milk? I work in the retail of Home Depot, which is the biggest hardware store in the world, basically. So our customers are not, where are your eggs, where are your milk? They come in with a task, they have a deadline, they have people waiting on them at the job, there's an expectation, and they need you to fix their problem, whatever it is. And I have people that come in there that have made up tools. They don't exist. But this person says, if you can just find me what this is or what, and I'm like, listen, I totally understand what you're trying to describe, but it does not exist yet. It doesn't. It sounds awesome. So the customer base is brutal. I get challenged almost every day, but I think it be no coincidence why I work here. I have the perfect chance to live my message, to practice myself every day and control myself every day. I've been cursed out so many times. I've been told, pretty violent things. I'm not saying every time I keep my mouth quiet and don't say anything. I do respond. And again, I'm not saying I lose my mind and I'm getting put in handcuffs, right? I'll defend myself. But again, in purging that anger and purging that emotion, I'm not attaching it to myself and carrying it into the next day or even the next hour. It's done, right? So again, no one's perfect. You're not just going to not be angry. It's not what this is about. But it's about knowing who you are. And in knowing who you are, you're always able to come back home, come back down to that presence, to breathe and release yourself of that emotion, of those thoughts, or whatever that's invading your presence. You can purge it because presence is your grounding point. You're present. Blackberry says, we talk about dualism and singularity. Is there something else? There is. But it's beyond language. And it's within yourself right now. All right, I'm gonna pick one more good question on here, and then I'm gonna wrap up this video since I've hit a hour already. It seems to go by so quick. So graven images aren't a bad thing. Graven images aren't a bad thing, right? And I know the whole metaverse symbol had a lot of people in a uproar, but you look at the metaverse symbol and it equals that. There's reason why I didn't get the circle snake tattooed on me. I like this snake better. And this snake, to me, it's more powerful than the snake that just goes in a circle. Because again, the path is not a circle, it's not a straight path, it's not at all what it is. You begin and end in the same place, and to me, this better illustrates what that is, and that's what the metaverse is going to show us and allow us to experience for ourselves, that we have never traveled anywhere in this what we thought to be physical experience. That's what the headset's going to show us, is that all these places are through a headset. Likewise with this, all these places are in a headset, are in the mind. Yeah, I think artificial intelligence and the metaverse are going to answer every question we have about ourselves as far as the who and where we are, how we got here. This is the golden age. This is the time where all of our delicate questions are being answered from ourselves. And it's a delicate time because in answering these questions, we surpass our human capabilities, which means if we're still trying to play human and be human, we're stepping on our own toes because, again, we're surpassing human capabilities while trying to stay human, and it doesn't work out. So it's like we're stepping on our own toes. We're trying to find what put us here while watching us put ourselves here, and then still ask the question, what put us here? Because we refuse to accept what is inevitable, basically. There is nowhere to go, and there is no other. It's always been you, and that's what I feel is imperative in this time, is that it is us. We will look around and there will eventually be no one to blame per se. And by blame, I mean point the finger at or direct the attention at. It will be you. But yeah, graven images, I get, the symbols. That's a good question. Blackberry said, is our world based on our belief only? Because we say when we know, it means that we believe we are convinced. And that's true. That's why Buddha and many of these people in this path consider this an unknowing. It's more of a Zen path, the absence of mind, the clearing of mind, the purification of mind. So that's why I'm aware like this video isn't flooding with people, and this teaching is not more popular in the spiritual community, right? Because it's an unlearning, it's an unknowing. And again, how can you take an unknowing and sell it to people or make people excited? People are looking for their purpose and place here. And where is purpose and place in an unknowing, right? It doesn't fit in with what people are trying to do. So an unlearning isn't for everyone. An unknowing isn't for everyone. It's a lot harder. It's shedding the pieces to yourself. Most people are seeking the accumulation of knowledge, which is why Buddha told every person that came to his land to see him that if you are seeking an accumulation of knowledge, my teaching is not for you. Because in coming here, you are coming here to unlearn, to unmask, to unveil, to check out, and to die. And that's why Buddha taught his disciples what he called total death. In teaching total death, you destroy the reincarnation wheel, you destroy time, you destroy space, you destroy before and after. So there will never arise a question within yourself again of who was I in my past life or what happens when I die. Total death was just that, allowing you to see into what total death was, the timeless, the infinite presence, which is no place, it's beyond space and time. And that's why I know people are more so on those people's videos who are talking about moon alignments and the big event coming up on this date and, this stuff. We want chance still. We want coincidence still. We're not ready to say we are the ones doing this. We're still looking for the blind faith and the hope and the belief, which is why we have so many charging the crystals and doing this leap of faith work. They're not serious deep down. Not everyone wants to check out. And again, I'm not saying that's not okay. That's perfectly okay. But through this teaching, this is for those ready to check out. The unlearning, not the accumulation of knowledge. So I'm going to wrap up this video since I'm at 1 hour and 10. Thank you to everyone who engaged, everyone who was asking questions, everyone who liked, shared, for all the donations. Thank you very much. I will leave the donation link in the description or in the comments, sorry. So if you'd like to donate, you can feel free to send. And again, feel free to share as well. Shares are gold. So I will try and be live tomorrow with episode 9. And again, I'm just going to try and keep doing these on a consistent basis. And that's all the donations do, is allow me to, I guess, call out of work a little more than normal. So I have more time to do these and stuff like that. And I'm not saying I'm always calling out, but I'm just saying it gives me more time, more freedom to be able to make these videos. So everyone have a beautiful day. The weekend is coming up, so enjoy. And again, if you have any questions for the next video tomorrow, feel free to comment them on this one and I'll address them tomorrow. All right? Thank you.